Alright, let's dive right into the captivating origins and history of soccer. Now soccer, or as it's known in most parts of the world, football, has a rich and fascinating history. It didn't just appear out of nowhere. Rather, it evolved over time to become the game we know and love today. The earliest forms of soccer can be traced back over 2,000 years to ancient civilizations. The Chinese, Greeks, and Romans all had games that involved kicking a ball around. However, it's important to note that these games were quite different from the soccer we know today. They often involved large numbers of players, and the rules were, well, let's say they were pretty flexible. Fast forward to the Middle Ages in England, where a form of soccer, often quite violent, was popular among the common folk. It was more of a chaotic mob game, with sometimes entire villages participating, and the goals could be miles apart. But don't worry, it's not all as hectic as it sounds. By the early 19th century, various forms of football were being played in schools and universities across England, and this is where the game really started to take shape. The modern game of soccer really began to evolve in 1863 when the Football Association was founded in England. This was the first governing body of the sport, and they established a standardized set of rules, many of which still exist today. The introduction of the offside rule, the penalty kick, and the decision to limit teams to 11 players were all pivotal moments in the evolution of soccer. The sport continued to grow in popularity, and by the early 20th century, it had spread worldwide thanks to the colonization, industrialization, and the efforts of various football clubs and associations. The first World Cup tournament took place in 1930, and this really marked soccer's arrival on the global stage. And that, in a nutshell, is a brief overview of the origins and evolution of soccer. It is a game that carries centuries of history with it. Every time a ball is kicked in a park, on a beach, or in a packed stadium, it's a testament to soccer's enduring appeal. But despite its changes over the years, the heart of the game remains the same. The simple joy of kicking a ball. Alright, let's switch gears and delve into the rules and regulations of soccer. Now, soccer is a pretty straightforward game at its core. Well, let's break it down to understand the finer details. Firstly, a soccer match is played by two teams, each comprising of 11 players, which includes a goalkeeper. The objective? Pretty simple. To score more goals than the opponent within the stipulated time, usually 90 minutes divided into two halves. The playing field, or pitch, is rectangular with a goal at each end. The ball is spherical and made of leather or a similar material. Sounds easy so far, right? Now, let's talk about the rules. Players can use any part of their body to play the ball, except their arms and hands. The exception to this rule is the goalkeeper, who can use their hands, but only within the penalty area. One of the most misunderstood rules in soccer is the offside rule. In simple terms, a player is considered offside if they are nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent when the ball is played to them. However, a player is not offside if they are level with the second last opponent or level with the last two opponents. In terms of tactics and strategies, soccer is a mind game as much as it's a physical one. Teams must master both defensive and attacking strategies, varying their approach based on the strengths and weaknesses of their opponents. They must know when to press, when to retreat, and when to strike. It's this chess-like aspect that adds a layer of complexity to the beautiful game. Fouls and misconduct are penalized with free kicks, penalty kicks, and in some cases, yellow or red cards. A player receiving 2 yellow cards in the same game
will result in a red card, meaning they're sent off for the remainder of the match.
and there you have it. A brief overview of the rules and regulations of soccer. From the roles of players to the strategies employed, it's a game that combines physical skill, strategic thinking, and a healthy dose of passion and determination. But at the end of the day, as the great Johan Cruyff once said, football is a game you play with your brain. All right, let's shift our focus now to the impact of soccer on global culture and its influence on politics, society, and economics. Now, soccer isn't just a game, it's much more than that. It's a global phenomenon that transcends borders, cultures, languages, and social classes. Firstly, soccer has a profound cultural impact because it's a shared language that brings people together, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. It's a source of national pride and identity. Think about the World Cup. Every 4 years, people from all over the world unite to cheer for their national teams. For a brief moment, differences are put aside, and the world comes together to celebrate the beautiful game. Soccer also plays a significant role in politics. Governments often use the sport to promote their countries on the world stage. Hosting a major tournament like the World Cup can significantly boost a country's international prestige. But it's not all rosy. Soccer can also be a tool of political propaganda and has been at the center of political tensions and conflicts. Remember the infamous football war between Honduras and El Salvador in 1969? On the economic front,
Soccer is a major global industry, generating billions of dollars in revenue each year.
it creates jobs, from professional players and coaches to stadium staff and broadcasters. It also stimulates local economies, especially when cities host major tournaments. Tourism booms, local businesses thrive, and international investment increases. Moreover, soccer influences society in profound ways, where it has been used as a tool for social change, fighting against racism, poverty, and inequality. Organizations like Football for Peace use the sport to build peace and unite communities around the world. But it's also important to acknowledge that soccer reflects the societal issues we face. Issues like corruption, discrimination, and economic disparity are mirrored in the sport, reminding us that, well, soccer is a microcosm of our world. In conclusion, the impact of soccer goes far beyond the pitch. It's a cultural phenomenon, a political instrument, an economic powerhouse, and a reflection of our society. It's more than just a game. It's a way of life for millions of people around the globe. So the next time you watch a match, remember you're not just watching 22 players kicking a ball around. You're witnessing a piece of a much larger global picture. Let's turn our attention now to soccer's universal appeal and what makes it the world's most popular sport. It's mind-boggling to think that a simple game involving a ball and 2 goals can captivate the hearts and minds of billions of people around the globe. So, what gives soccer its universal appeal? Well, for starters, it's a game of simplicity. To play soccer, all you need is a ball and a space. You don't need expensive equipment or a designated venue. This accessibility makes it a game for everyone, no matter where you're from or what your socioeconomic status is. Soccer is also a sport that caters to different fitness levels and abilities. You don't need to be the fastest, strongest, or tallest to excel. It's a game that values skill, creativity, and intelligence as much as physical prowess. Think of players like Lionel Messi and Neymar. They may not be the most physically imposing players on the pitch, but their skills, agility, and footballing brains make them world beaters. Moreover, soccer is a truly global sport. It's played and followed on every continent, from the favelas of Brazil to the streets of Tokyo. Major tournaments like the World Cup unite nations and cultures, fostering a sense of global community.
It's a language that everyone speaks.
A goal scored in England is celebrated just as passionately in Egypt, India, or Argentina. But perhaps the greatest appeal of soccer lies in its unpredictability. The ball is round, as they say, and anything can happen in 90 minutes. The underdog can triumph over the favorite. The unfancy team can have their day. It's this unpredictability, this drama, this element of surprise that keeps us on the edge of our seats, that keeps us coming back for more. In conclusion, soccer's universal appeal lies in its simplicity, inclusivity, global reach, and unpredictability. It's a sport that breaks down barriers, unites people, and stirs emotions like no other. And that, my friends, is why it's not just a game, but the beautiful game. Let's now delve into the role and influence of major soccer tournaments like the World Cup and the Champions League on a global scale. These competitions are not just about crowning the best team. They carry a much more significant influence on the world stage. First up, let's talk about the World Cup, the most prestigious tournament in international soccer. Organized by FIFA, it takes place every 4 years and unites nations like no other event. The World Cup is not just a sporting event. It's a global festival that transcends sport. It's a platform where nations showcase their cultural identity, and players represent not just themselves, but their countries and their people. The tournament has given us countless memorable moments, from Maradona's hand of God to Zidane's headbutt, that have become part of global sporting folklore. The World Cup also has a significant economic impact. Hosting the tournament can boost a country's economy, generate jobs, and attract tourists. However, it's worth noting that these economic benefits often come with substantial costs, and the debate over whether it's worth it continues to rage on. Next, we have the UEFA Champions League, the most prestigious club competition in European soccer, drawing top clubs from all over Europe. The level of competition is incredibly high, showcasing some of the best talent in the game. It's a chance for clubs to prove themselves against the best of the best, and for players to make their mark on the global stage. The Champions League also plays a major role in shaping the economics of European football. The revenue generated through broadcasting rights and sponsorship deals and prize money is substantial. Success in the competition can significantly boost a club's finances and global reputation. But beyond the economics and politics, these tournaments play a crucial role in the social and cultural fabric of societies. They bring people together, provide a sense of community, and create memories that last a lifetime. In conclusion, major soccer tournaments like the World Cup and the Champions League have a profound influence on a global scale. They're about much more than soccer. They're cultural, social, political, and economic events that captivate the world.
So the next time you're watching the World Cup or Champions League match, remember you're not just watching a game, you're witnessing a global event.